2 hours into this thing, I'm fighting for my life. I cannot get out. Okay. I cannot get out. I cannot do anything. And then the next 2 hours, you guys, the next 2 hours, this is what is happening. I'm weak now. I have lost all the strength that I had in my body. This is the point that they start to negotiate for my soul. Literally. Hey sis, welcome to Lifted Woman Network. My name is Oliver Nakakande. So I believe at this point you have gotten an idea. I've given you a context in the first video of how we got here and why we're here in the first place. I hope that was actually very clear. And I hope you actually got to understand. If you didn't, just feel free to leave me a comment or a question, whatever. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing my testimony, how I got to meet Jesus, how I got to meet Jesus, or how he met me. I think how he met me, because I didn't think I met him. I didn't think I met him. He met me where I was. So I'm going to share my testimony, how I met him. So it's kind of like a story. It's a long story, but I'm gonna try to cut it short. So if you're at home or chilling, maybe grab some popcorn, grab some tea. And yeah, and give me your ears to enjoy this testimony for the glory of God. So I'm going to take you all the way back to where it started. And I have already shared this testimony to thousands of people across, different networks. Even in my country, I got to be hosted on national TV to share my testimony, which is something I don't take for granted. And I actually believed that it transformed a lot of lives, because I received a lot of messages that people, where people were like, oh my God, I can't believe that happened to you. It was really eye-opening to a lot of people, and I really glorify God for that. So I'm going to take you back to where and when it started. Now, early in 2024. Yeah, early 2024. That is when it happened. So I'm going to take you back how and the people that God used in that, in that circle. So in May of 2024, I was having these two friends of mine that invited me to their place. And the reason why I agreed is because we had this friendship going on for like 2 years. And also I had proposed to them that, because I do charity back home in Uganda, I have a foundation that is called Girls of Grace Foundation, where we teach, women how to make reusable sanitary pads. We support women, especially teen mothers, to go back to school. So I had pitched something to them in line of that, charity work in Uganda, because I could see that they looked like they had money. So I was like, okay, I think I could believe these people have money. Why, instead of, going out, because we used to go out a lot and they used to invite me, and I could see them spending a lot of money. And I was like, okay, why are we spending all this money on alcohol? I mean, it's not my money, but I felt like we could do something better with the money. So I pitched to them. I say to them, you know what? Why don't you invest some of that money into, not actually invest, because charity is not an investment, but why don't you do good with that money? So they were like, yeah, it sounds like a good idea. So I came up, they told me to do like a plan, a project plan, a proposal, whatever. And then so on that day, fast forward, I was supposed to present that proposal to them. So it was a charity proposal. You can imagine I am very, very excited, because I know that if this actually works, like a lot of people are going to have access to education in my home country, Uganda. So we know that, Uganda is not having like the best education system and all that. And we can only do what we can do. And I feel like God has actually called me into that line of work. And so I felt like these people were actually brought to me at a time where it was perfect, right? But it was not. So I went in, I didn't have my laptop. I just had the proposal on my phone and I was ready to share with them. And actually I arrived like 1 hour late because I was running some stuff, but then I did arrive around 8 p.m. So I arrived at 8 p.m. They had prepared dinner. And then I sat down. I felt at home. I was, chilling. And then I shared the proposal. I told them, okay, this is it. It was not very expensive in my in my perspective. And actually, they did actually approve it. They said, yeah, we're excited. We're going to go ahead with it. Pause. This is why we shouldn't actually just celebrate anything so soon, because anything can happen, right? So in my mind, I was like, oh my God, thank God, like, like I'm so happy this is happening. This is going to happen. Like I was just already thinking about how people's lives are going to be transformed. But deep down, these people had an agenda. They had something that they had hidden from me, and I had no idea. So I'm there just excited. And at this point, by the way, let me take you back. In the early 2024, like I'm talking actually even 2023, I was feeling this in my heart. I had this feeling in my heart, like something was telling me to quit drinking, because I used to consume a lot of wine. I had like a whole wine kind of like cellar situation in my apartment, and I had like champagne and all these things. So I was not big on the hard stuff, but I like the champagne, the wine. I was getting excited even to just fly business, just to drink unlimited champagne. So that's how much I loved it. So, but early on, late 2023, early 2024, I felt something in my spirit telling me, you need to stop drinking. You need to give up on drinking. To be honest with you, every time I drank, I felt like I was turning into something else. I felt like it was not me. I felt like some whole personality came over me, and it was not me. And the next day I could hate that person that I was, and I could regret everything that I did, right? So you know what happens when you're drunk. Anyways, so fast forward, at this point, I'm in their house, and they are saying, oh, at this point, they know that I'm not drinking anymore, because I listened to that voice somehow, and I actually got rid of all the alcohol that was in my house. This was before I met Jesus, but before Jesus met me. But I believe he had actually met me slowly but slowly, trying to transform my life. But I had no idea. So I would feel being driven in a direction of like transformation, but I had no idea it was happening. So I hope you guys are following. I'm sorry if I'm dragging this, but okay. So I'm in their house. At this point, they know that I'm not drinking anymore, because we used to go out and drink, and now I'm still going out with them sometimes, but I'm not drinking. I'm opting for mocktails. I'm even not even happy to be out, because I don't even like to see people get drunk. I feel mad for no reason. Like at this point, you guys, I haven't, Jesus hasn't met me, but this is how I feel, right? So they tell me, it is so bad that you don't drink anymore. You're boring. It's boring that you're not drinking, because like, how are you drinking? And I'm like, you guys, our friendship should not be measured on whether I drink or not. I think our friendship should be genuinely about, friendship, and if there is something that I'm going through as a person, I think you need to support me and just take it at that, I think, and actually stand on that even now. Like if your friendship is about drinking or some activity that you get to do together that puts you together, then there's something wrong. Then you need to check your friendship. So I told them, no, I'm not drinking, and I don't care what you guys say. So they were like, okay, we'll make you a mocktail. They made me a mocktail, and then I drank the mocktail, and then they asked me, do you want to have dinner? Actually, I'm the one who asked, do you want to have dinner, because I saw you guys cooked, and they said, oh, you know what, we're actually not very hungry. Except if you want to have dinner. And I said, you know what, I'm not hungry, because I actually had a very late lunch that day. So I was like, I was at the mall, I had lunch, and it was late. So I'm happy to just, have some fruits and stuff like that and just call it a night. So that's perfect. But then they recommended another drink, right? Another drink. And this drink, my friend, is the one that was like literally demonic. It was very, very dark and demonic. So I remember that they told me, oh, because you don't drink anymore, we have this amazing tea. We have this good tea that you're gonna love. I'm like, okay, sounds exciting. And then they told me it is a very special tea, and when you drink it, you need to be like very relaxed. It's going to relax you. It's going to they said a lot of things about this tea, and I'm like, I'm from Uganda. I mean, like, because of colonialism. We were colonized by the British. Obviously, we drink a lot of tea. We have a lot of tree plantations in Uganda, more than coffee. So obviously, I love tea, right? But then the way they talked about this tea, I'm like, what's up with this tea? What is up with this tea? I don't get it. But I'm like, okay, because they talked so much about the tea and its relaxing factor and all this, I'm like, I need to look at the packaging. I need to read about it. I was curious. So I went to read in the kitchen. I went to read about it. It was in this packaging, like a normal packaging. But unfortunately, I think it was Russian. And at that moment, I didn't even have wisdom to maybe take a picture or to ask ChatGPT to translate what it meant. I didn't. But then I smelled it and they say, oh, it's mushroom tea. And actually it did smell like mushroom tea. And I thought it smelled like mushrooms, right? And I told them, when they say it's mushroom, I said, oh my God, is it not a drug? Is it not a drug? Because I remember in 2019, my first time in New York, I was around people who were mentioning drugs, and they said that, mushroom is a drug and it can get you to do things, right? So I'm like, you guys have heard that mushroom is a drug. Da, da, da. I'm not a drug person. I had never done drugs in my life. I think the only drug that I had done at that point was drinking alcohol, wine and champagne. That's it. No smoking, nothing, just drinking. So I was like skeptical and asking them these questions, and they were like, no, this is not that. This is different. Da, 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 da. This is tea. I'm like, okay, whatever. As long as we're gonna drink it together. And you guys, that is how I gave into literally the enemy's trap. That is how I just, gave in just by saying yes to that drink. Little did I know that, it was going to start a whole thing. Like, that's why I'm even here talking about it. I mean, I'm not here because of the tea, but that was in the process. So, we sit down and she prepares the tea. I saw she put coconut milk and she put it in the microwave. She warmed it up, then bring it out. Okay, everyone has their own cup. And before we drink this tea, you guys, I don't even know why they put it in the microwave in the first place. That sounds actually ridiculous, but before we drank this tea, the guy, because they were dating, so the girlfriend and the boyfriend, so the guy said, before you drink this tea, you need to calm your mind, you need to think. So they said, we're going to meditate. I'm like, you guys should have told me that we are going to pray, because for me, meditation, it still means prayer. And I'm like, they said we're going to meditate, so you need to think about life and da 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 da. So when they said meditate, I asked them, you should have told me to wear comfortable clothing, maybe pants or a legging or something that I could sit comfortably in and just relax, because what I was wearing was a mini skirt and I could not even just be comfortable in that. So they said, no, don't worry, she's gonna give you something. So we literally go upstairs and I change my mini skirt and I actually put on joggers, like bikers, leggings, mini leggings, right? So, I mean, we're friends, right? We're cool. So we come back down, we start drinking the tea. And then she also changed into a whole white dress, you guys. I want you guys now to take this story very seriously. And I start picturing everything I'm trying to tell you. And where it's going to lead is very interesting. So, oh my God. So we come back down and I'm like, but then I'm starting to think, but with these people, we've never talked about God ever in our lives. How come we're going to pray together? How come we're going to meditate together? Now, in my mind, I'm thinking the meditation of prayer, we're going to speak to God, right? And at this point, remember, you guys, I didn't have a relationship with God at this point. I was really just lost. I was doing whatever. I was just in the world, right? I was so in the world. But then because I was raised up as a Christian, it always comes back to you whenever you find yourself in a situation like that, you're like, even when I attended like Muslim school, I could always pray in Jesus' name, right? So like stuff like that, even if you don't have a relationship with God, you always fall back into your belief, right? So I was like that at that point. I don't know if I make sense. So I started asking myself, how are we going to pray? I mean, we've never even talked with these people about God. And I started asking in my mind, which God do they actually believe in? That is when I remembered that outside their house, because they had this big house, like a normal Dubai house, it's not too big, but a normal Dubai house. So outside the house was a pool, and near the pool was, they had a little house which had 17, you guys, 17 parrots in that little house. And outside the little house, I want you to listen clearly. Outside the little house was a sculpture. Is this called a sculpture? Yeah, the sculpture, the idol of Mary. Yeah, that thing that Catholics usually have, right? So the image of Mary was there. So then I was like, oh, I think they're Catholics. I think I can trust them. That's what I thought. I was like, oh, I think they're Catholics. I'm gonna choose to trust them. And that was wrong. So we start taking the tea, and I'm like, okay, since we're just gonna chill and relax and pray and meditate. Oh my God, I literally remember this as if it happened yesterday. That was a very big mistake. So I started drinking the tea, but they said you need to take it slowly. Don't rush it. I took it slow. I took it so slow. And then they also started taking it. But you guys, in the middle where the tea was, there was a table. There was a fruit platter. So there was like fruits with, watermelon, like pineapples, fruits, right? And then we had tea. So it looked like a feast, some sort of a feast. But I could not understand where this was heading. And I hope this message will help open someone's eyes, because these things are happening and sometimes you don't even get to realize that it's spiritual. So I start taking the tea, they start taking the tea, we're chilling. And then just a few minutes later, the guy stands up and he starts saying these words. He says, I'm on the moon. And I'm like, what moon? I don't get it. At this point, I'm in my senses and I'm like, what is going on? Like, what moon? I don't see the moon. Like, what moon? And then the girl also gets up and they start laughing, like crazy laugh. Like, ha, 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 ha. I'm like, oh, guys, what's funny? What's happening? What is happening? I think when they saw that I'm not, like, it wasn't clocking to me, as the saying now goes, like, is it clocking to you? It was not clocking to me that they were high and I was not, and they were spiritually high, okay, with whatever. So they realized that I was not doing something right. So maybe I didn't follow the instructions. So the girl comes to me and touches my cup and she's like, Oliver, why are you not drinking? I'm like, excuse me, you told me to drink this stuff slow, and that's what I'm doing. And I think the guy used emotional intelligence at this point, and he came in and said, "Oh, just leave her to drink slowly. Okay, don't worry, just drink a little bit." I said, "You guys, I don't like the way you're forcing me to drink this thing. I'm actually feeling intimidated right now. I'm scared for my life right now, because why are you forcing me to drink it? Like, if I want to drink it, I will drink it. If I don't, I don't." But these guys that I'm speaking to, they're already on another cloud, and I'm still here. I don't understand. I'm not processing what's going on, but they are starting to act creepy. So I don't want to miss out on anything. I want to tell you everything that happened. So the guy uses emotional intelligence at this point, and he's like, "Okay, don't worry. Just take it at your pace. Just take one more sip." And I was so mad, and I said, I'm just gonna take one more sip, and that's it. That's what I said. But you guys, that one sip that I took, that one extra sip that I took, that was the sip that I needed to take me to hell. That was like the remaining dose that I needed to join them to their moon where they were. And I remember taking it, and I started to lose my mind. Literally lost my mind. I was like, what is going on? Like, I was in this sense of like, I could understand, I could see what is happening, but I cannot control the situation. I don't know if you guys understand that. And I don't even know if all people who take drugs, if this is what they see, but this was very spiritual. And I'm going to show you as this story goes, share with you. So, I start to see things which many people would call like hallucinate or whatever. You guys need to keep up with my English pronunciation. But I start to see things, and I start to feel like my stomach is just burning. Like, I feel like I don't understand. I'm on the floor. I was sitting before comfortably in the seat, and now I'm on the floor. And on the floor, I'm stretching, I'm bending. I'm like, I'm unstable, right? And then the guy comes to me and he says, "Oh, just get up and go, lay to your back, lay on your back and face up in the couch." So they had this L couch, and I did that. So I laid down, and he said that was a position that you're going to feel comfortable. And he was right. So I felt comfortable there, but I was still seeing a lot of things. Like, I could see a lot of scary things, you guys. I was in hell, right? I was in hell. I could see like snakes. I could see like animals with many heads. I could see dark stuff, and my heart was pounding at very, very fast. I'm like, what is going on? Right? I'm losing my mind. Like, what am I seeing? And these guys are all over the living room. They are on the moon. They are laughing. Like, have you seen those movies where people are like I don't even know how to call it. Like a ceremony of initiation into like a cult, or like something dark, like a horror movie, and the demons are laughing and ha 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 ha. That is how it was. That is how it was. And I'm like, oh God, I deeply knew in my heart that I've been drugged, and I don't know how I need to get out of here, but I need to get out of here. That's what I knew. But I could not even, now in that position where he told me, he advised me to be, I could not even lift my leg. I could not lift my arms. I could not do nothing. And let me take you back a little bit. Like, before we took this tea, on the instructions of taking this tea, the guy said, because we're going to be praying and meditating, this is something actually I also do when I'm praying, right? Like, I switch off my phone. I put my phone in flight mode because I don't want people to call me when I'm in prayer. So I was like, duh, of course I'm going to do that. So he's like, it's better to just, cancel the noise. So put your phone in flight mode. And I did that immediately because why not? So I didn't have access to my phone, but I always have my watch. So I had my watch on my wrist. But obviously it's connected to the phone, so I couldn't get nothing. I am helpless. This is the point that I'm trying to make. I was really, really helpless. So finally, I start to, my God, I don't want to miss out on any single part. Please, Holy Spirit, remind me of everything. So I'm there fighting for my life. I'm running out of breath. I feel like I'm hot, and at the same time, I feel like I'm cold. I feel like I'm burning, and then I feel like I'm so cold. I ask them to switch on the AC, and then I'm like, no, switch off the AC. I'm like, I don't know what is going on, but all I know is like I'm in a very dark place, okay? I look at the ceiling, I start to see things. I look outside the door, the windows. I start to see there was a tree. The tree looks like all the other parrots that I saw. Like the colors of the parrots, it's bright, it's shining. And I know that what I'm seeing is not normal. I know I'm not. Like, I'm now seeing in the spirit, and it's dark. I'm not even on the clean side of the spiritual realm. I'm on the dark side of the spiritual realm. That's what I was experiencing. And I knew that I needed to get out of that situation. Now, I start to, fight for my life. I cannot. Now, the plot was, I'm not going to keep dragging this whole thing, but this is what they wanted. They wanted me to be so weak and so, what is the word? Vulnerable. Yes, I want weak and vulnerable in that state that I really needed to give up. That's the state. So this was like an introduction to what was actually happening. So for the next 2 hours, you guys, I was in that state for the next 2 hours. And I'll tell you how I knew the time. But obviously I had my watch, but I wasn't keeping the time then. But I knew from the time I got it into the time we had the tea, and then the next 2 hours in, I am still helpless. I feel like I'm dying. I feel like I'm losing my breath, right? No one is helping me. These people are just there. But before I lay down, you guys, also, something I saw is that this girl, my former friend, because we're not friends anymore, I saw her literally glowing and like she was shining. Remember when we went upstairs to change, she changed into a whole white gown. Her hair was like sparkling and her dress was like shining and she looked more beautiful than before, than the usual. And I remember telling her, oh my God, you're so beautiful. And she's like, thank you. Oh my God, you guys, literally, like the demon in that place was all over her. Like we were supposed to worship her. That we were supposed to bow, like the demon was manifested in her. That spirit was manifested in her, and we were supposed to worship her. The feast, she was like the queen of that feast, right? And the guy was supposedly like the slave around serving and doing things around for the queen or whatever that she was to him. And I, you can guess it, I was the sacrifice. I know I sound many people watching right now, I know I sound crazy. I know I sound out of my mind. I'm not. Trust me, I am not out of my mind. This happened. I know that the day, the time, the place, the house, the people, I know it. Okay? Yeah. Okay, let's continue with the story. I just wanted to put that disclaimer. But it's okay to call me crazy because all this spiritual stuff sometimes sounds crazy if you don't know like a lot of stuff that happens in the spiritual realm. Okay, it's fine. So anyways, I saw her glowing. She was pretty much like, the spirit had manifested on her. She was that spirit, and she was the one that was supposed to receive the sacrifice, and I was the sacrifice. And how am I the sacrifice? How do I even get to know that I'm the sacrifice? 2 hours into this thing, I'm fighting for my life. I cannot get out. Okay? I cannot get out. I cannot do anything. And then the next 2 hours, you guys, this is what is happening. I'm weak now. I have lost all the strength that I had in my body. This is the point that they start to negotiate for my soul. Literally. This is the point that they start to negotiate for my soul. Now, these are the things that I used to hear, on stories and people saying, someone sold their soul to the devil, or someone, there's dark stuff and people sell their soul. I'm like, okay, like I never say it doesn't exist, but I was like, I felt like, I thought that it was so far away from me. Like, what? Like, how do you even get to meet these people who would ask to buy your soul? Like, I thought it was so far away. But you guys, I want you to realize that the enemy is not so far away. He is so close. He's very closer than you think. Now, I start to negotiate for my soul. And how does the negotiation happen? Because someone would ask in the comment section, how does the negotiation happen? So pretty much, I'm going to break it down how it happened. I literally hear a voice. The guy is sitting over there, and the girl was sitting in the middle between us. So the guy is also laying down. The girl is sitting, and she's there, shining and all that. And then before actually, they put like cushions underneath. So she looked like she has transformed into like this, like a mommy or mermaid or whatever. So I couldn't see the downer part, the lower part. She had like transformed. And the guy had also transformed into something, but I could see that they're controlling me. They're controlling my mind. Even when I wanted to go to the bathroom, they could control me to say, no, you're fine. You don't go, you're not going anywhere. So like I could hear in the spirit when they're speaking to me, but we're not talking. We're not using any words, right? So the guy says, okay. They start now to get into my mind, and they say, I open up a screen, and the screen brings all the things that I could ever dream of that I need in this world. To take you a little bit back with these people, we used to drive like Lamborghinis with them, go around Dubai, different Emirates, driving these Porsche cars. We used to go to these fancy places. There are so many restaurants we used to go, and I actually believe that they have connections in these places. I'm not going to mention the names right now, but there are so many, and I see a lot of spiritual business happening there, and I'm like, I feel sorry for those people, but I think my job right now is to pray that many souls will get out and see the light of Jesus. Anyway, so I'm giving you the context of like the luxury life that they were portraying to live, and that is in quotes for a reason. Because when they opened the screen, I started to see like luxury cars, flashing in my face. Like I could literally go like that. Wow. Before you see another one, wow, like another one coming up, like, wow. I'm like, they were so beautiful. There were so many. Like if I had said yes, they were enough to change probably my entire life, right? And then the question would come at the end of each display, and it would go like, yes or no. The question comes to me, and I'm supposed to make a decision, yes or no. Whew. So it was really hard to make a decision as me, because obviously I don't come from a very wealthy background, like in terms of like finance and cars and houses and all that stuff. So it was exciting. But also, I thank God, because I believe that God was there with me, even when I didn't know, to just give me the strength in my heart to say no. There is so much power in our words. There is so much power in our voices, that when we say the words we say, they carry a lot of like power to them. So that's why when we receive salvation, you have to say with your mouth, you have to acknowledge that Jesus is Lord, and you speak it. There's a reason why you do that. Now, there is a reason why they also wanted like a verbal confirmation from me to say yes or no, right? And I thank God that He was there with me, because in my own capacity, I think I would have just said yes. But I said no. Thank God. Okay, so I said no. I'm going to try to finish this video in one video take. I don't want to do another part. So I said no. And that was not the end. Another screen came up. Now houses, luxury homes, villas, mansions. And I was still like, oh, wow. Oh, wow. Literally like that. I was like that. Wow. And then that finishes. And the same question comes, yes or no? And I'm like, So I had to think about it, but I thank God that He was there with me. Because the houses that I saw, we don't have any of those houses that I saw like back in my family. No, they were amazing. I said, no. I think they were like shocked. I was also shocked that I was saying no, but I was like, no. I think I'm gonna cry, but I'm not gonna cry. And then more slides came. I literally saw slides of my lifestyle that they were trying to negotiate to give me. I could see like I'm luxury lifestyle shopping and like private jets, first class, and luxury items. Da, da, da. I could see myself living that lifestyle. And they also asked me yes or no, and I remember saying no, no, nothing could buy my soul. No one could buy my soul. No. And I didn't say those words because I even knew what I was saying. But I said no because God was with me. He was the one speaking through me saying no. Why? Because he loves me and he wants my soul more than the enemy does. He cares for my soul. The enemy will always use manipulative things and tactics to try to lie to you because he's the father of lies. He knows how to package things to make you feel like, oh my God, if I have that. The enemy is the father of illusions. Like he can build up something that does not exist for you to step in to realize that it's air, it's nothing, it doesn't exist. This needs some spiritual wisdom for you to catch it. It needs spiritual wisdom for you to catch it. Lord, have mercy. The last thing that they tried to persuade me with was money. Now, I saw money that was a lot of money like I had never seen in my life. I saw dollars, I saw dirhams, I saw pounds, I saw all currency, euros, whatever currency that you know, that I've not even touched in my life. I saw money, a lot of money that could literally change my entire life and everyone that I know. Excuse me. It was too much. And that I took some time to think about it because after the slide finished, I was like, yes or no. They asked me yes or no. I was like, because I was like, wow, like it was a lot. It was a lot. And by the way, when this guy told me that with this tea, we're going to meditate and pray. And so for me, and he said, you can ask whatever. So for me, what I actually did ask was that deep down in my heart, I was like, but where do these people get this money from? That was a genuine question I asked because after they approved that they were going to do the project that I had proposed, it wasn't cheap, and also the lifestyle that they were portraying to live. And I'm like, they are not even sharing what they do for a living. The guy was like, he claimed to be in his 30s and he's claiming to be retired. And the girl is like, they're just there. Like, they look like they're doing nothing. So I'm like, what is it that you guys actually do? I want to know. So they were talking about crypto. They were talking about this, like crypto. And the guy was like, I'm retired. And then they have all these Lamborghinis and all these Ferraris and all this luxury stuff. They're always shopping and da, da, da. Guys, deception is real. This was total deception. It was an illusion. Nothing of those things was true. I know better now. And thanks be to the Lord, our Savior, Jesus Christ. I know better. So where did I stop? The money after, of course I said no. I said no. The slides were not going to end because they genuinely wanted my soul. So they kept bringing stuff back and back and back and back and back. But I kept ignoring. I kept saying no. Now, what happened is I started to look down into my spirit and start to say, how do I get out of this situation? Because you guys, I was not enjoying this show of money, cars and houses and lifestyles and whatever. I was not. I was exhausted. And at this point, I've been here for like 4 hours. I'm tired. I'm out of breath. I cannot stand. I cannot do anything. I cannot even sit. I'm tired and exhausted. So I start to search deep in my heart, what is there to help me? And I remembered that there was a name and there was God deep down in my heart. There was Jesus somewhere. And along the way, I had not walked with him, but he was there somewhere in my heart. I knew that there was a savior in my heart. So I actually, at that point, I just said, I'm just going to pray. And then I remember even second guessing myself, and I said, but what if I pray? These people are going to know that I'm praying, because they could read my thoughts. They could So and then I'm like, I don't care. Let me just say a prayer in my spirit. So I said a prayer in my spirit. And I said, it was very simple and very basic. I said, God, if you're really there, get me out of this situation now. It was very, very basic in those lines. Like, I just need to get out of here. And oh my God, that is when I experienced the power of God. That is where I saw that God did care, and he was present, and he was right there willing to help me. But because this video has gotten to this point, it's over 40 minutes. I don't want to go more into depth. I think we should come back in the next part, which I'm going to do after this. So let me know if this has been interesting and eye-opening. I'm going to start from here, how God answered and actually got me out of that situation, in the next part, so in part 2. So make sure that if you haven't joined the Lifted Woman Network, I think this is the point for you to join the family before you actually even get to the next part. I'm getting emotional, but yeah, I'm going to cut this from here, and I'll see you guys in the next part. Be blessed.
Lifted Women Lift.